All right, it's time once again for Podcast Trivia, where you can win a 1-year subscription to Malloy program podcast downloads, commercial free. Put in your ear every morning, even on those nights when we so screw up at this program that there's nothing there, but it still comes from us. Retail value is $59.40, which works out to 25 cents a show. That's why we call this a two-bit radio program. All right. Do we have a contestant? We do indeed. Royal is in Des Moines, Iowa. Hello, Royal.
Hello, Mr. Malloy.
Are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Music maestro, if you will, please. I can't start Royal until we have the music, so there it is. All right, here we go. Recently, there was an incident being described as a failure to launch. What is it referring to? Would it be A, Newt Gingrich's campaign to be Republican nominee for president? B, Rick Santorum's campaign to be the Republican nominee for president? C, Rush Limbaugh's expectation after swallowing a triple dose of Viagra? Or D, North Korea's attempt to loft what they called a communications satellite into Earth orbit?
Is it D?
D. You think it's D? You're right. Okay, Royal, have you ever won anything on the radio before?
Oh, my emotional problems are just getting so much better.
No. What I said was, have you ever won anything on the radio before?
Yes, no, that's why the problems are getting so much better.
Okay, all right, I got it. All right, okay. All right, Royal, hold on a second. Well, Kathy gets the pertinent information, and congratulations, pal. We're glad you won. What? Okay. Well, by the way, this hour is being sponsored by Russ and Maxine. And their message, thanks, Mike, for saying what we, the humble masses, need to learn so that we can intelligently reclaim our voices. Let's put stand your ground on ice. I can agree with that. There's a few other things I like to put on ice, too. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. GK in Minnesota sent me an email. I think GK was kind of PO'd when GK sent this. Hey, Mike. Clearly, there is never a shortage of these right-wing, fascist-lying, cheating, pond scum-sucking, Republican-backing billionaires and millionaires like Foster Freeze and Bill Donahue, two that I mentioned last night, to back the latest and the brightest next best thing of the GOP. And the brightest reminds me of what those people remind me of, and that is of moths that hover around the light on the porch during a summer evening. They jump from light to light, seeking the brightest light. How good would it be if what happens to some of the moths would happen to those scumbags as well? Keep stripping the bark, Mike. GK in Minnesota. You talking about the bug zappers? Yeah, those things really freak me out. I mean, they really do. I don't know. I don't know. There's something about those. Further proof, if any is needed, that Republicans are totally, completely, irrevocably insane. Here it is. According to a new Gallup poll released today, a majority of Americans support the proposed so-called Buffett rule, which would require individuals earning $1 million or more per year to pay at least 30% of their income in taxes. The survey found that 60% of adults support enacting such a policy, while 37% oppose it. By significant margins, both independents and Democrats supported the measure, with independents 63 to 33 support millionaires and billionaires paying 30% tax. Democrats 74 to 24% support the measure. Republicans opposed it. but by a smaller margin, 54 to 43%. So 54% of Republicans say, no, don't tax the rich people. No, Rush Limbaugh said I should say that. No. We want to keep paying the taxes. I make $57,000 a year, and I want to keep paying more taxes than the Pigman pays because I love the Pigman. I love his smell. I love what he says. I'd like to have one of his sweat rags or one of those god-awful polo shirts he wears all the time with the half-ass horizontal stripes. Somebody should tell him you don't wear horizontal stripes when you're grossly obese. 54% of Republicans say the rich should not be taxed at 30%. What did I just read here? That Prairie 2 wrote. The top tax rate was 71% for people that make this kind of money. Until Reagan took a look at that and said, "What's this, Mommy?" "Oh, it's all right, honey. It's nothing." And then somebody came along and said, "Here, sign this." "Oh, what am I signing here?" "It's okay. It's okay, Ronnie. Just go ahead and sign it." "Okay. Mommy, should I sign this?" "Yes, you should, sweetheart." And that cut the top tax rate to what? What it cut to? I don't know. The American Nazi Party attempted to make a foray into Washington's halls of power this week. The American Nazi Party. You didn't know we had one. I got to respect them. At least they don't call themselves the National Socialists or something. They call themselves the American Nazi Party. Registering their first lobbyist as a liaison to U.S. lawmakers. Good job. John Bowles. Oh, I'm sorry. It says here, John Bowles, the National Socialist Movement's presidential nominee in 2008. No, it's an American Nazi Party. Registered Tuesday, according to U.S. News and World Report. He stated on his registration form that he intends to lobby on the issues of, quote, political rights and ballot access laws, end quote. Ooh, well, that's really good, Nazi. Asked by U.S. News and World Report if he thought an avowed Nazi would actually be able to secure meetings with politicians, Mr. John Bowles, or is it Bowles? I'm not sure. Bowles, I guess. John Bowles responded with confidence. He said, quote, "I don't see why not. Of course, I won't approach anybody in Congress unless it's a very interesting issue or law. I'm going to be very careful about the issues I choose for this." Well, Mr. Bowles seems self-assured. Business Insider flagged an interview with Wikinews in 2008 that may have some members of Congress think twice before sitting down with him. Oh, come on. They're not going to think twice. They're just going to ask him how much money he's got. In the interview, Mr. Bowles says he once ran as a Baltimore City Convention delegate to the Republican Party convention in 1984. Of course he did. And explains his 2008 presidential platform. See, remember, he was the presidential nominee for the National Socialist Movement in 2008. This is what he said, quote, back then, quote, "I am running as the white people's candidate for president of the USA in 2008 because I believe that America has changed for the worse because the once dominant white European American is being reduced to second-class citizen status and losing political power. Much of the present American Southwest is reverting to a Spanish-speaking Mexican culture, with Puerto Ricans breeding faster than blacks in New York City. And Cuban refugees still crowding into Florida. It is possible that North America may soon look like, well, South America. White Americans need to start voting as a bloc and not as individuals if they are to have an effective voice in government, or America will turn into a third world country. Puerto Ricans are breeding faster than black? What's a black? A blah person? So here he is, folks, John Bowles. Appropriate name. He's registered as the first lobbyist of the American Nazi Party as a liaison to U.S. lawmakers. Now, I know I don't know, some Democrats will probably welcome him, but every single Republican, even the Republicans who are Jews, are going to welcome this guy. Hey, man, how you doing? What John Bowles? What a hell of a name. I'll bet you were teased about that when you were in elementary school, right? Hey, did you move your bowels? Ha, ha, ha! I'll bet that was real funny. How much money are you bringing here to this meeting with me? My name's Eric Cantor, by the way. Let's have a sit down.